So in the event of this, what happens to this? We're going to talk about that and more, so stay tuned. What's going on, YouTube? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to episode number 55 of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack. As always, I appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day to check out the video, and if you like what you see here, then feel free to hit that thumbs up button, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. You guys know the support means a lot to me, and I really do appreciate it. So this video is going to be a little bit of a departure from my usual stuff. We all love to have fun making these videos, meet new stackers, content creators, and we generally give each other a hard time out of good fun. But if I get serious for just a few minutes, this is a topic that's really been on my mind lately. Now, true story, I was talking with a fellow stacker recently at the fairgrounds, and something he said kind of concerned me. Basically, he told me, I've got my gold and silver buried in a cement vault in the backyard. No one's going to find it. Well, I told him that was great, but what about your wife? Well, she doesn't need to know where it is. The less people who know, the better. I said, well, yeah, that's generally true and good advice, but what if something happened to you tomorrow? Who would know how to access it? Your wife, your kids, anyone? Or would it just sit in the ground until it's dug up centuries later? Or they throw a Walmart on your property? Wouldn't you want to make sure that that stuff goes to your wife and kids if you pass? He kind of paused for a second, and he said, you know what? I've been so busy trying to secure the damn stuff that I never really thought about it that way. Well, I think that's about the time that it hit him that he had absolutely no plan in place. And I have to say, I'd bet a paycheck that he's not alone out there. So really quickly, I'd like to go over a basic preview of how I'm set up. I'm guessing most of my channel friends here have these bases covered. Because let's face it, you're either making videos or you're watching videos to educate yourself. So again, I'm assuming most of you have these bases covered, but maybe it'll help someone out there who might have missed a detail or two. All right, for starters, I have a main gun safe that only she and I have the combination to, and inside that safe, I also have a fireproof safe box that has some general items that I keep locked up. As an example, all right, last will and testament being one of the first and most important ones. Login names and passwords to my separate bank accounts. All of my life insurance policies and any other paperwork that she'll need, along with numbers to call to make the claim. Login information for my crypto wallet, along with passphrases. All of my Marine Corps paperwork to include my DD-214 and any important stuff related to my veteran status. And information in regard to accessing my offsite storage. I don't keep everything in the house. It's not kept in a bank, but I don't keep everything in the house. Most of my stuff is in the house, but I do have offsite storage, and she needs to know how to get to that. And just to back myself up, I do keep some things on a thumb drive, which is stored in a fireproof, waterproof bag in the safe. And I also keep everything divided by envelopes, which are labeled for each of the topics I discussed prior to this. The bag seems to be guaranteed to be fireproof, waterproof. One can only hope. So that's 4 layers of pretty sturdy fire and theft protection. 6 if you include the alarm system on the house, and the cranky Rottweiler who patrols around by day and by night. Yeah. All right, one quick side note on storage and safety. For the love of all things holy, don't store anything value in one of these cheap book safes. Thieves educate themselves all the time, and if you think they're not aware of these things, think again. I know a guy who actually stores his freaking gold in one of these, in plain sight on a bookshelf. Seriously. Come on, man. These things were meant to hide stuff from the kids, and that's about it. And most wives and girlfriends have figured out these things, so that's a no-go. So now that we've gone over storage, what about if, hey, something really does happen? It's great that you got the bases covered. She knows how to get to everything. Your family knows how to access your stuff. But what about selling it? What if they decide to sell it? They're probably not going to want to keep your stuff. So what if they decide to sell? Personally, I'd be scared, whatless, that somebody would take advantage of her if she tried to bring it to a pawn shop or a coin shop. Definitely not a pawn shop. For the love of God, no pawn shops. So what happens then? Well, I've already got it in the, I've got a stipulation in the will that if she decides that she needs the money to pay for all the strippers I've requested to appear at my memorial, hey, bring stacks of dollar bills, everyone, or maybe 20s due to inflation. Kidding. I've asked her to sell to one and only one particular LCS dealer. He's a trusted friend, and I know he would never shortchange her on the value of my precious metals. I also gave her the choice to distribute that collection to the kids, but there are more instructions that state in the event they decide to sell to take it to the same designated dealer. The only way I'll change that dealer is if he were to pass away or move out of state or become unable in any way to help facilitate the purchase of the collection. So now I know what some of you are thinking. If that fire safe that's stored in my large safe was ever broken into, then all that information is right there for the taking, and you'd be absolutely 100% correct. That being said, the gun safe I keep at the house that stores that fire safe is more than secure. It's built like a tank. It's bolted to the floor. It's way too big and heavy to be just carried out, even if they ripped it out of the floor. Plus, the entire house is wired with a monitor alarm for fire, window breaks, forced entry, yada, yada, yada. And that security system doesn't rely on electricity to run or contact a monitoring service. So is it a foolproof setup? No way in hell. There's always somebody that can get through your security systems. But for the average hacker / thief, it's more than enough. And having my big ass Rottweiler on guard doesn't hurt either. So speaking of value, like I said, I don't think she would get hosed, but I do keep a kind of a spreadsheet / logbook. I know you can't really see it that well. On all the stuff that I keep here. It just breaks it down by purchases and what I've bought, when I bought it, how much I paid for it. So there'll be a general idea of what it's worth if she needs something to refer to. But the spreadsheet shows a picture of each type of coin, what I paid for it, date, how many of each I have, like eagles, maples, yada, yada. And I also have an Excel spreadsheet with even more detailed information on the inventory that kind of marries up to the logbook. So she has access to my laptop and she'd be able to pull up that spreadsheet with no trouble. So whoever's going to be responsible for your collection needs to at least have a ballpark figure on value. And don't go by that AppMex spreadsheet that's online, the portfolio tool. Those prices are ridiculous. So it overinflates what you have. All right, we're going to wrap this thing up. I appreciate you hanging in there till the end, and I hope maybe a tidbit or two in this video was at least somewhat helpful for you. Anyway, look, bottom line is we're all stacking for ourselves and our families, and it's a noble gesture and effort. But if you don't have a plan for worst case scenarios occurring with you or whatever, then you're just putting yourself and your family at risk for losing out. You may have a designated beneficiary. You might just leave everything to the executor of the estate to give it all away as they see fit. Or you might have a nice donation set up to a charitable donation or organization. Now, they're all solid plans, don't get me wrong. But if you don't have one in place, please consider getting one ASAP. Tomorrow simply isn't guaranteed for any of us. And I'd hate to think that all my hard work and savings would go to waste in any way if tomorrow didn't come to me. Think about it. And have a plan in place. And also educate yourself. I'm not a big doomsday guy, but get the books out there. Read a couple of books on preparedness. Again, a lot of it is common sense, but you never know. You might learn something. So that being said, I'm done. I've rambled long enough. I will catch you next week with a video that's a little bit more fun than this one. Until then, you know what to do. What is it? Get stacked! Peace!